ทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดา
ก็ยินดีต้อนรับนะครับสู่อีเวนต์ของเราอีเวนต์รายเดือนประจำเดือนของเรานะครับ Open Forum Information Security Knowledge Sharing Series ของประจำเดือนกุมภาพันธ์2563ครับวันนี้ก็เราได้รับความร่วมมือจากบริษัท Gigamon ในช่วงเช้านะครับช่วงบ่ายจะเป็นบริษัทเทนไมโครหัวข้อค่อนข้างน่าสนใจแล้วก็วันนี้เท่าที่ดูก็คือแขกที่มาเข้าร่วมงานของเราวันนี้เป็นแขกหน้าใหม่ซะส่วนมากด้วยช่วงเช้าก็จะเป็นเรื่องของHow to run fast, stay secure and innovate in digital economy และหลังเบรกก็จะเป็น protecting critical information infrastructure ทั้งสองหัวข้อเป็นหัวข้อที่ค่อนข้างจะเป็นเทรนด์ในปัจจุบันด้วยเลยน่าจะได้รับความสนใจเป็นอย่างมากครับช่วงบ่ายก็จะเป็นในธีมของ security prediction แล้วก็จะเป็นเรื่องของ cloud protection for endpoints and datacenter ก็เพื่อไม่ให้เสียเวลาครับเดี๋ยวผมขออนุญาตเชิญทาง Gigamon เลยนะครับเชิญครับ
ฮัลโหลค่ะค่ะสวัสดีค่ะทุกท่านนะคะค่ะก็กุ้งนะคะเรียกง่ายๆว่ากุ้งละกันชื่อเต็มก็จะเป็นนางสาวสุทธิสาจิตภักดีนะคะวันนี้ก็คือจะเป็นตัวแทนของทางกิกามอนนะคะซึ่งจะเป็นตัวแทนที่ประจำอยู่ประเทศไทยนะคะเดี๋ยวถ้ายังไงขอฝากนามบัตรกับทุกท่านอีกครั้งหนึ่งนะคะหากว่ามีข้อมูลหรือต้องการข้อมูลส่วนไหนเพิ่มเติมสามารถแบบโทรหากุ้งได้เลยนะคะแล้วก็ในส่วนของวันนี้ทางกิกามอนก็ร่วมกับทางเอ็ดด้านะคะวันนี้ต้องขอบคุณมากๆที่ให้ทางกิกามอนเนี่ยเข้ามาอธิบายนะคะแล้วก็ในส่วนของงานเนี่ยว่าทำไมความสำคัญในปัจจุบันเนี่ยในยุคของที่เป็นดิจิทัลเทคโนโลยีเนี่ยทำไมถึงมีความสำคัญแล้วสิ่งที่ลูกค้าควรมีข้อคอนเซิร์นหรือว่าสิ่งที่ควรระวังหรือสิ่งที่เราเลยคอมเมนต์ในการที่มองหาว่าลูกค้าเนี่ยอาจจะต้องเตรียมในส่วนของอินฟราสตรัคเจอร์หรือว่าในส่วนของต่างๆในส่วนของบริษัทของท่านหรือในส่วนขององค์กรของท่านนะคะก็สามารถแบบมีความรู้เพิ่มเติมโดยวันนี้จะมีทางคุณชุนปิงนะคะซึ่งจะเป็นทางเทคนิคของทางกิกามอนนะคะที่วันนี้บินเข้ามาให้ความรู้นะคะแต่ถ้าสมมุติว่าวันนี้ทางทีมงานมีคุยไปแล้วก็อาจจะมีคำถามเพิ่มเติมนะคะสามารถสอบถามกุ้งนะคะได้เลยเหมือนกันหรือว่าสามารถสอบถามทางคุณชุนปิงโดยตรงได้เลยเหมือนกันนะคะแต่ว่าก็ถ้าแบบมีคำถามลองดูแบบถามเป็นภาษาไทยเลยแล้วก็ตามยกมือแล้วเดี๋ยวกุ้งช่วยเองค่ะนะคะถ้ายังไงวันนี้ก็เดี๋ยวกุ้งขออนุญาตส่งต่อให้กับทางคุณชุนปิงนะคะเดี๋ยวจะอธิบายในส่วนของทำไมตอนนี้เทคโนโลยีเรามีอะไรบ้างนะคะถ้ายังไงเดี๋ยวขออนุญาตส่งต่อเลยขอบคุณนะคะทุกท่านค่ะ
Hey ขอบคุณครับ Morning my name is Chun Ping I'm a sales engineer from Gigamon so I think it's very thank you for coming here very early morning. I think it's quite jam out there. And then hopefully you guys already have breakfast. Take me like 1 hour to walk you through that how does Gigamon help the organizations to run fast and stay secure and innovate in the digital economy, right? And if you have any questions, you can raise up your hands because I don't speak Thai. But if you need to know more in Thai language, I can get my sales Kung to help me on this. Thank you. So the first, this is the key kind of points that I want to mention. In today, since 2000s, there's a lot of companies disappeared because of the digital transformations, and we're expecting almost $2 trillion of US dollar will be spent on digital transformations. And you will be asking why the organizations is going through digital transformations, right? If you look at all the big top company globally in this world, like what we call it FANG, F-A-A-N-G, right? Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix. All these are the big company. And 10 years ago, they don't exist, or 20 years ago, they don't exist in this world. But now they managed to become the biggest company. So they are the frontier, they're pushing the digital transformations. And they push all the different verticals or the companies to go through digital transformation so that those companies can engage better with their customer, right? Be more efficient, be more cost effective, and be more fast responsive. All right, so this is the market trend we're seeing right now. That's why you see that now the company lifespan is only 15 years compared to 75 years many years ago. Right now it's only 15 years. So if most of the companies, be it like banks, right, be it like transportations, be it like manufacturing or governments, if you're not doing the digital transformations, you might not keeping up the trend, your competitor will outbid you. So digital transformation is a good thing. People are moving fast, but they come with some of the challenges, and we will look into more details. Right? If you're talking about digital transformations, the first key thing is customer experience, right? Why customer experience? Example like banking. You have to now provide online banking. No more, you are not going to the bank to do your deposit anymore, transfer money, right? You take your transportations. You just use your Grab app to get the taxi or the car come to your place, not you going out to the road and wave the taxi down. So this is one of the things that you can observe from digital transformations. And all this is around the customer experience. If we look closer, the customer experience come with two different important pillars, which is the first thing, which is the user experience. How do you feel when you deal with the applications or the business itself, right? Is it very fast? Is it effective? Will it slow you down? Will it cause you problem, right? The second thing is the trust and reputations, because now everything is digitalized. You're passing more and more information to those different entities or business to keep track of your data. They hold a copy of a data in their data center. Right? So these two things are the customer, they are very focused on when they engage the business with you. And let's look at the business requirement. The business requirement is, before going to the business requirement, from the user experience and trust and reputations, you can see that based on the survey, it's almost the same percentage that if you are doing good in your user experience, your customer will likely to engage more business with you. As well as if you have a breach of your business, breach of trust, it might also hinder your business moving forward. So your customer might stop doing business with you because of the reputations that you hold. Right? So that's come with the business requirement. If you look at business requirement, from the user experience perspective, the first key criteria is the performance and the agility. So performance means when they're dealing with you, it's just fast, it's just good, it's just smooth, as well as the agility. So your business have to change very fast. Like Netflix, maybe for a few minutes, they'll keep changing their code, right? It must be agile enough to adapt to the change. With the reputations, you see more and more regulations from all over the right, because it's your data, it's not their data. So you see more and more regulations in today's world. But how do you keep maintaining both the performance and the agility, plus the security and the compliance? These are the two main pillars when you are dealing with the digital transformations from the business requirement perspective. So you look at the customer experience. How do they build up with? The first thing, of course, is the legacy apps, right? You are moving from your legacy kind of 3D application, starting towards more. Maybe you have operation technology because of Industrial 4.0, depends on which business you are in, right? Followed by mobility, right? I'm sure that all of you have phones, you have an iPad, or you have any kind of different mini kind of a laptop to bring to your work, as well as the digital apps, which is containerized with microservices. So you'll see that all those big companies, I think also like bank in Thailand, also governments are going through the containerizations of their applications because they want to be agile, want to move fast, right? These are the 4 things that build up the customer experience for today. And you look closer, this is the traditional way how you monitor your infrastructure. This is your infrastructure I showed just now. It can be cloud, it can be virtualized, it can be physical data center. This is a hybrid deployment or hybrid kind of architecture, which is very common. We see 90-something% of enterprise are using this architecture, but the tools are still legacy way, right? Why do we need to monitor? 20 years or 10 years ago, you say monitor to most of the operation guys. They think that this is a good to have, it's not a must have. But today is very different because of the digital transformations. It's very similar to flying a plane. You cannot fly a plane without an indicator, right? How high are you? How fast you go? You have to know your applications, how they perform. You have to know your infrastructure. You have to know everything about what is running in your business, right? That's why the monitoring is very key today. It's very different than 10 or 20 years ago. And if you look closer, the traditional architecture allows you to monitor the legacy applications quite okay, right? It works, it still works. But how about monitoring your OT, your mobility, your new microservices, right? Across different infrastructure. That's the problem it comes, right? You can't meet the performance requirement as well as the security requirement, right? This is the pain point that most of the organizations that seeing right now when they go through the digital transformations. So how can you run fast and stay secure and keep innovating, right? With so many new things coming up, continue coming up. The answer is you can leverage the data in motions or data in transit in the network. That is the source of the truth. Whatever that's flowing through, it gives you the informations and insights that you need as an indicator to you, how is your infrastructure performing? How is your business applications performing? Are they secure enough or are they have any vulnerability over there? You see around of many technical controls are now not only covering the endpoint protections, but also on the technical control on the network point. Right, so this is a different architecture compared to C just now, right? Just now you see all the crisscross from here. This is where we fill the gap, right? Gigamon, as a next generation backup broker, we have the capability to get the traffic from this side, from any infrastructure, pass to the right-hand side with a lot of advanced capability, right? So this is very significant. Why? First thing, you might looks like it is very familiar. If you're coming from the server team or system side, right, you understand the server, it becomes like this is your physical server, right? This is like your VM. This is become the hypervisor. Someone might ask, why do you want to run hypervisor since you can run your application directly on the app? The reason so many applications going to the hypervisor is because of the security and the agility, right? When you have the abstraction here, this is what we call the abstractions, like the hypervisor. When you have the abstractions here, you abstract all the functions, you separate these two out, right? And then you can do the centralizations. Means the data over here can be centralized over here. Once you centralize, like your token or your authentications, AAA, when you centralize, you have a security because you can control where it goes, right? And you have the agility. When you want to do any changes on the left-hand side, on the right-hand side, we are there to absorb the change, right? Anything happens here and happens here, we help to adapt accordingly. So you have the agility. This is the main point that you have to understand from Gigamon architectural perspective, right? This is where we come in the center here. And one more thing, please pay attention because I think I got prize to give out at the later of the sessions, a t-shirt from Gigamon. Just ask a question and you raise your hand up first and you answer correctly, I will give you the t-shirt straight away. Okay, so with this architecture, we help the NetOps to run fast and the SecOps to stay secure, right? So from the NetOps perspective, you'll see there's an improved app and network performance. There's a network flexibility. So this is key. Anything you want to secure shouldn't impact your business, shouldn't impact your network, right? Followed by optimize the network too. Sometimes you might ask how to optimize, right? You can add new components. The answer is with the abstractions, we will help you to do the centralizations. When you do your solutioning, you will see the complexity will come down, right? With the complexity come down, the cost also come down, the tool usage also being optimized. This is how we do the optimizations. As we stay secure, we help you to boost the security posture. And this is very key. Most of the time when we work with our customer, especially you want to build a SOC, you want to run a better security posture, we are there, we are in the SOC to make sure we vacuum, we take all the data in motion and pass to the tools inside your SOC, right? So next gen SOC, they're looking at the network activity and we are there to help to improve their security posture. This is a key one. Improve the hybrid cloud security. So this is one of the topics that a lot of the organizations today, they are not think through. Most of the time, they are happily now doing lift and shift. You hear from them, I want to lift and shift first. I want to make sure that I save the call first. The security come after. So that's where we come to help to bridge the gap because we bring the same capability from your on-prem data center into your cloud environment. And the last one, because of these two, right, you can accelerate your incidents and response because if all the data that you have more information, you have more insight that help you to make better actionable decisions in your business. Right? So from our offering perspective, we work with different teams. This one, NetView, we can work with the network team in terms of if your network team is relying on your APM or NPM to understand your application performance, right? They will use this bundle, we call it bundle. So we are software offering to bundle together the features. It's the same fabric. This is what we call a fabric. It's the same fabric, but you just enable with the NetView software bundle and will work very closely with the NPM and APM. Followed by the secure view. So if you have the security needs that to have Gigamon connect to your security tools, right? IPS, your firewall, your IDS, your APT, all these tools you can enable with the secure view, right? Followed by mobile view. So for those you are coming from the mobile operator, we have a lot of solutions in the mobile space, right? Like your 3G, your 4G, your 5G, coming 5G. We are working closely with all the different telco to help them to monitor the 5G network so that it can provide a better experience and also make sure the security is being executed properly in the mobile network. And the last one, of course, is cloud suite, which is span across all the different use cases because you can be network use case in the cloud, it can be security use case in the cloud, and also for mobility, for the mobile phone, everything will be virtualized, right? NFV, you'll see more and more virtualized thing in the mobile world. So our cloud suite work across all these three different bundles. And on the top here, this is our data warehouse, right? Whatever that the traffic passing through, you can have the options to get the copy of the traffic passed to our data warehouse. So this is a managed SaaS service. The data will pass to the cloud and store in the cloud. We are not storing all the raw packet. We are storing the metadata with the data hosted in the cloud. This is our another product, which is what we call the Threat Insight. It used for threat detections, threat response, and threat hunting. It's a SaaS-based offering to utilize the data in our data warehouse to do the threat hunting and threat response and threat detections in the cloud. So you can pass all the traffic over here, and then we will do the analyze with the machine learning from the cloud. So this is one of our public reference use case, Under Armour. Right? Under Armour also going through a significant digital transformations. If you go and open your Apple app and go and search for the Under Armour, you can see there are multiple applications. You keep track how you do your fitness, how you eat, what's your eating behavior. You can do all the tracking in multiple applications. So they are big in digital transformations, and we are helping them from Gigamon's perspective to give them insight into all the applications, and also ensure the security compliance is being complied. right? So Under Armour is one of the customer that's using Gigamon underlying to make sure it serves the performance purpose, performance monitoring purpose, and also the security monitoring purpose. The other one is the Telefonia, one of the biggest telco in the world. So for their subscriber, they want to find out before even the problem happens to their subscriber. They want to have the proactive alert sent to them. So there's a monitoring of their subscriber, right? This is the major requirement from them. So Gigamon is there to help them, to give them the raw traffic, everything passed to their probes, and then do the analytics on their subscriber. On the other hand, the same copy of the packet is passed to the security tools for security compliance. So the same copy of the packet on network, the data and motions are passed to two different tools for different purpose. Right? So this is a main use case that you see most of organizations, how they use Gigamon. So this is a research. It's done by ESG. After the research, they find out that from the network and security performance kind of benefits, we help customers to reduce the false positive up to 70%. And also reduce the downtime up to 50%. You will know why with the architecture I'll show you later on how we help to reduce these two things together, right? This is mainly to help that we give them all the data that they need, right? There's no blind spot. This one mainly is we have what we call the inline bypass architecture that you'll see later on. We help the customer to avoid downtime. In any sense, we avoid the point of failure in the architecture, right? In terms of the network visibility, it's increased tremendously, 75%. Right? You see more things. When you see more things, you can do more analytics. Followed by 50% reduction in cost. So you might be asking, how come I have new component, additional component, I can still have a cost reduction? So it's the same question you ask that, I have a server, you still install hypervisor, I can save money. It's the same answer, right? With the abstractions, it bring the cost down. And with the business, benefit is you increase the agility and decrease in the complexity. I think these two are very key. This one gives you the business can move fast, and this one will make sure your team can work very efficiently, right? Not down by all the overloading work in managing the unnecessary work in the daily job. Right? In terms of our market share, we have few competitors, but we are almost 40 to 50% more market share than them. Right? By last year, we are doing very good. We have a good double-digit growth. This will even bring up much bigger. Right? So in globally, we have a lot of new customers on board to us to make sure that they are being secured in the digital transformation and make sure their business can adapt quick enough. Right? This is one page to show you who are those most vendors they're working with. So as a Gigamon, you see just now in the slide, we are in the middle, right? We are like sandwiched between your network infrastructure and sandwiched between your monitoring tools, right? We cannot work alone. We need to work with other different tools vendors. So they are happily working with us because why? The main thing is they need all the data emotions. Being alone themselves, they cannot take all the data emotions. We are there to help them to take all the data emotions and then make it optimized, right? So I'm sure that most of the tools that you see here will be in your infrastructure, in your data center, most of them, right? Okay, so this is just tell you that we are trusted leader. We are having almost close to 3,000 customers with 4.8 satisfaction score. It's quite high score. Our RMA rate is very low. In my career, I don't see a lot of RMA, maybe less than 10. And you're not surprised to see that most of the big organizations is using Gigamon, be it with governments, defense, banks, right? Tech companies, some inside your pocket or inside your bag, some of the gadgets backend are using Gigamon to do the monitoring. Healthcare provider, this is key one, especially now you have a lot of the IoMT device in your healthcare provider like hospital. And I think as the healthcare informations, right, is one of the most I think most valuable informations to be buy over the dark net, right? If you go, the price is the highest compared to your typical PI information. So this will give the much higher price when you want to buy this piece of information. So most of the hackers will also target the healthcare provider. We're also helping the healthcare provider to do the security monitoring and followed by the mobile, right? All the subscriber 4G fixed line, mobile line. Backend, we also help them to do the monitoring, right? The next one, I'll go into more details. This is more use case based, very, in more technical terms, but not very technical, so that you can understand what are those typical use cases. So for our band, we provide the reliable access to the network data. Right? This is very key one. This is the first step to the visibility. And in today's market, people are moving towards the zero trust network. If you read some of paper, like even from the US government, they are now going to the Zero Trust Network initiative, right? And part of the key requirement is the visibility, right? Because you cannot protect the invisible, so you must have the visibility. This is the first key step. In a very high level, just now it's the same one. You see the infrastructure here. This is Gigamon. This is the tools, right? We have the physical, virtual, remote sites, and cloud. We give you all the data in reliable way. That is for the outband. So what is outband using for? Outband is using for your threat detections. So do you need to have a threat detections? You might ask, I have firewall. Do I need to buy the threat detections? The answer is yes, because most of the threat detections tools are needed when your network is breached. You need to have some tools to do the detections. It's like your CCTV. Right, your CCTV do the monitoring. Someone has intrudes into your house. You need to have some things to monitor it. So threat detections, we use the outbound architecture to help it, followed by your threat preventions, which is your inline preventions tools like your IPS, your firewall, your APT, your WAF, right, sitting in path. Okay, so this is from one of the analysts. He mentioned that Gigamon is able to inspect the network packets, means by in the path, including the encrypted traffic, right? Your SSL traffic have the ability to promote more efficient use of existing security tools. Means you have existing security tools ready, you can just put Gigamon in and will help you to make it more efficiently, right? So this is a vital kind of a main component that we help in the inline preventions architecture. Right, this is the architecture. You might see maybe some of your data center is running in this architecture. You might see these are some of the challenges, but the main one is the point of failure. If you want to do your software upgrade, or if the software is having some issue, you want to do patching, that's your headache. You want to talk to your network team need to talk to security team, both need to talk to the boss. Then I don't know when you can do the patching or do the software upgrade. Then by the time the hacker will come in to your infrastructure, right? So this is a main problem, and it's a main reason a lot of our customer buying this solution. This is called the inline bypass. I'll show the architecture later on. But we also helps on doing the media transformations, right? Sometimes you might want to do your network upgrade to 40 gig, but your tools you still want to retain because you know the traffic will not go to 40 gig, maybe still retain in 10 gig. So we can mix and match the different interface between your tools and your network. And sometimes too many tools in the same line, you'll see the performance degradations. You don't know how come, I don't know which tool is causing the problem. Sometimes my question mark, what is happening, right? You degrade the performance. Followed by, it doesn't scale the network speed. You'll see more and more traffic when you do the digital transformations. There's a human to machine traffic, there's a machine to machine traffic, then more and more traffic, right? How do you scale with this architecture? This is questions you might want to ask yourself in the future, 3 years, 4 years. Followed by, just as I mentioned, the disruptions to a software upgrade. And the last one, also the key one. During troubleshooting, you want to temporarily move this thing out of the path, so that you can keep troubleshooting, but you don't want to lose the visibility. You still want the traffic to go to the tools. You cannot change it in the path, out of path, without taking out of wire, and then change the configurations. So this, later on, I'll show you that this is the architecture to help you to address all the challenges I mentioned just now, right? The point of failure, there's a bypass capability, either using the link status or the health check to make sure that the tools, when it comes to failure, either power failure or software failure, it can perform based on your decisions. You can decide that the traffic can bypass, or you can decide that everything to bypass, right? There's some decision you can make, but it will not impact your business. As well as you see there's so many tools, the same alike tools for ATP. So some customers, they use it to load share the traffic, active, 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 for active, or N+1, or active standby. So one tool fail, the other two take over, right? You always have a security inspection, but it never impact to your business. This is one of the key value that we also help them to deliver. And you'll see from the network speed and the tool speed can be different. It can be, this side is fiber, this side is copper, right? And you want to move this tool from in-path to outband, means your preventions to detections. You can change the setting over here in Gigamon. When you change it, the traffic will just pass through, but the mirror copy will pass to it. So the tools will think that it still connect in the path, but it's actually is not. Just a mirror copy passing to them. So there's a lot of flexibility give you to play in this architecture deployment when you connect in this way. So the best way to deploy inline tools is not to put them inline. The name says inline, but don't put them inline. Why? Because Gigamon is inline, right? After that, you get the simplified, resilient, and scalable architecture, right? This is why you can be agile. When you do this thing, you add in more tools, you have a new vendor coming in, just plug and play. No touching your network. Software upgrade, you do it, you bypass. So you have agility in your business, no downtime, right? That's how you see just now the 50% reduction in downtime is mainly because of this one architecture. And we have banks, we have different governments are using this architecture to protect their infrastructure, right? This is in more zoom-in versions that you see that this is a network. You can pass to your inline tool, to your outbound tools, or you can send a copy of the same traffic to NetFlow. So our box is capable to do the NetFlow generations in unsampled, right? Some of the tools like SIM want to take NetFlow, convert to NetFlow, and also SSL decryptions. Because you see the next slide, more and more traffic are encrypted, right? If you coming from like, I think banks, I think in globally, most of the banks are moving to, you must inspect SSL traffic, right? Else, how do you see the traffic inside, right? So this is the same architecture. That's why you see that Gigamon is in the path, man in the middle. It is capable to do the SSL decryptions, right? So all in all, we help to achieve the security goals of overcome the physical deployment obstacles, right? Mainly because we can help to avoid the disruptions when you do the software upgrade, add or remove the tools, maximize the network availability by bypassing the tools or bypassing Gigamon. Gigamon can bypass Gigamon. When Gigamon has a power failure, the traffic can just bypass, fail to wire, followed by you have a minimized impact to the network and the application's performance. Why? Because we have the smart way to allow you to redirect certain traffic to certain tools and redirect certain traffic not to go to certain tools, right? Example, you have a WAF. There's no need for you to send non-web traffic to WAF. For those non-web traffic, bypass the WAF. Just send to other tools. Don't send to WAF. So that's how you to decrease the latency, decrease the applications, to help you to increase the application's performance. Followed by increase the scale of security inspection, because just now you know the sharing of the tools, we can do the load sharing, load distributions to multiple tools. That's how you can keep increasing your tools, right? You can do the horizontal scaling, right? Instead of buying a new box to replace the old box that cannot run fast enough, you buy the same box and keep adding, right? You can still run fast. So you can have the agility. And also, this is very key. We have few customers, they have some problem. I mean, sometimes you will be in some of the Cisco environment. You have active switch talking to active switch, everything active, right? They have an asymmetric path. We have these situations, you want to try to put in your inspection tools in the path, you got problem because the traffic not always go back to the same tool. So we are there to help some of our customers to address this problem. This is a niche use case. You either have it or you either don't have it. If you have it, I would say you must use this architecture to address the problem. Right, so this is a summary for you. Right, four key points. First key point, you can decouple the security, the speed from the network speed. Send only the right traffic to the right tools. You can separate the security tools downtime from the network. And the last one, we help to align the net ops and the sec ops. Right, any things you want to do software upgrade, network ops, please go ahead. Just make sure don't cause our network outage to me. So you can bypass, do whatever software upgrade you want, and then bring back the tools. Right, so this is the 5 key points you can take back. And the next session is SSL decryptions. It's also a key one. I'm not sure how other verticals. I think that now banks and government are doing this to ensure the traffic are decrypted. And you see why? Based on Gartner, they say that if you're implementing the dedicated TLS decryption platform, you get a better visibility. Right? This is what Gartner say. And why the need of the SSL decryptions? The keyword is 100% need for SSL visibility. Right? If you look at some of the needs document, one of the key recommendations is to at least decrypt your traffic at the perimeter, at your gateway, to see that what are those traffic coming in and out of your infrastructure, right? Because most of the malicious traffic now are all encrypted. Right? If you don't decrypt, how do you see that? And there are multiple options in the market. You can do SSL decryptions. That one cannot be denied. Everyone now, most of the tools or even vendors, they can do SSL decryptions. So let's see what are the options. Right? Do nothing. Not the right answer, right? All the traffic is encrypted, you still do nothing. If you try to enable the SSL decryption for each tool, you might get the performance degradations. If your traffic not too high, you might not feel it. If you're a big enterprise, definitely you'll see it. You're looking for these solutions. We have a lot of big customers. When the traffic spike, then that's where the tools, especially your IPS or your APT, will have problem, right? So, followed by some, they offer the standalone SSL decryption appliance. So one of the challenges is you introduce more point of failure because more connect point, as well as there's a limited tool chaining. Because remember just now the inline bypass, we can do the service chaining to multiple tools, send the right traffic to the right tools. Most of the dedicated SSL decryption appliance can't do that. And some of the SSL decryption appliance are already out of the market now, right, because of the merger. And by using our same architecture inline bypass, which is the same box, you just add on with the SSL decryption engine, using the inline bypass architecture with the SSL decryption engine. That architecture became man in the middle, right? So you can do the decryptions without the physical wiring or the changes. So most of the time, you might introduce the inline bypass in the network first. You see how it performs, everything is good. Then you can start introducing, or you take the SSL decryptions from your tool. So most of the time, some of your tool might using or deploying the SSL decryption now. You start taking off the SSL decryption and offloaded by Gigamon, you'll see your tool's performance going up. You can inspect more. So if they are meant to blocking, let them do the blocking. And Gigamon do the SSL decryptions for them. So this is a way, I think 4-5 years ago, you might see this because of the RSA key exchange. Before now moving to the perfect forward secrecy. If you're using perfect forward secrecy, this might not be applicable to you, but we have the options. If some of the backend servers still using RSA key exchange, actually we can span the traffic or tap the traffic, and you have the key installed in Gigamon when we can start decrypting the traffic. So the criteria is to have the RSA key exchange. Or now you see more and more customers are moving, more people are moving to the perfect forward secrecy. So this is the way that you do the SSL decryptions. Either be it inbound, means your subscriber or your user is coming into a server, your data center, this is inbound. So you hold a private key, or outbound. So you want to inspect your user going out, maybe going out to Dropbox, going out to Facebook. So these both are supported in the single engine. Right? So this gives you that there's an automatic TLS detections. We are not based on port. Any port you send to us, we see the SSL handshake, we'll start do the decryptions based on the policy that you configured. right? Scalable interface support from 1 gig to 100 gig. Decrypt once and fit to many tools. This is the main functions to help you to save the money, also save the application's performance problem, also save the latency, right? Because you decrypt lesser, you save the latency. And we have a strong cipher suite support. Most of the common that you see in this market, we definitely support it so that we can do the offloading from them. Followed by, we also do the secure certificate validations. Make sure that the certificate that going out is valid, right? We'll check the certificate. So this comply to your corporate policy. And the last one is when you do the outbound SSL decryptions, means your user is going out. Some of the websites you're not supposed to decrypt, right? You don't want to see your own user banking, how much saving account money they have, right? So you shouldn't be decrypting the financial websites, like, or maybe the healthcare website. So those are websites because of privacy issue and because you want to comply to your corporate policy, then you can have these options to take. We have up to 30-something category to allow you to bypass the decryptions. Okay, the next topic is about application visibility or application intelligence. So this is very related to your digital transformations because digital transformation is all about applications, right? So last year, we introduced this product called application intelligence, and underlying we have 3 sub-offering within this single family, and you see what are those. So look at Gartner. They also say that consider the network backup broker vendors that are able to provide the applications layer decoding or the awareness, right? So that it can affect the ability to filter the traffic to the downstream tool. You can choose to where to pass the traffic. Right? This is based on what Gartner says. So you see what the challenge right now today. Applications are taking over. If you look at large enterprise, how many applications they have? Close to 788. Followed by not 3 tiers applications, but 7 to 8 tiers because of microservices, applications talking to applications. Followed by a lot of new protocol that introduced in the network that you don't see many years ago. Now you see them in your network. Followed by this is container. You see more and more container in your environment in coming future. So what we're facing right now, most of the customer facing right now, or organization facing right now, is lack of the application awareness. Most of the security appliance might only stop at L4, right? You cannot see beyond L7. If they can see beyond L7, they don't share the info to other tools, only for themselves to use, right? Their own consumptions. And if you happen to, maybe demo or play with some of the legacy network backup broker vendors, they only have a limited app visibility. And the next one is, if you have the app visibility, how about the ecosystem support? How do you integrate like these network backup broker solutions with the tool? There must be integration between both, right? How good is the integrations? And if you look at what are the tools are you analyzing today? It depends on your organization. Some might see that, some might not see that. I think if you go to university, you might see this. Most of them might be streaming traffic. I have a customer from university telling me that one of the APT appliances always hang, cannot take the load anymore, right? Because of the student keep sending those streaming video traffic to them. So I asked how to help them on that journey, right? So if you send the video traffic to them, it's useless for most of the detection tools or prevention tools. They cannot inspect the video content. So you might always don't send to them, right? This is one of the challenges that we see. So you see from here, underlying the application intelligence, there are applications visualizations, application filtering, and application metadata. I'll go into more details and explain through what is those. Right? First thing is application visualizations. This is when you deploy Gigamon, it gives you a snapshot or the snippet of how it looks in your network, right? All the applications that we see. Once you tap the traffic, span the traffic, we give you the breakdown, up to 3,000 applications. right? It's 3,000 applications. And we group them in different family. So straight away, it gives you the insight, what's happening to your network, and what are the benefits. You have a less effort. Since this is plug and play, it's very easy to deploy. It shines a light on the shadow IT, right? We have a real use case in one of the OT customer in the global, it's not in our Asia landscape. When they put these solutions into the network, suddenly they see the OT network has BitTorrent. Right? How come OT network got BitTorrent? And they are about to upgrade their firewall. They thought that the firewall cannot take the load. After that, they find out actually it's a BitTorrent. It's overloading the firewall. And they go and find out where's the BitTorrent source, and they go and take out the BitTorrent source. And it helps them to avoid to just upgrade the firewall because of the BitTorrent traffic. So it's not relevant traffic in the OT network. Right? This is one of the real use case in the real world. And it brings you to the next step that you have the visibility to prioritize and optimize using the next two features, right? The two families that I'll explain later on. Right? So the next one is application filtering, right? Since we are able to visualize and identify the applications, now you have the capability to tell which traffic is going to which tool, right? On the left-hand side, you see here is all the applications that you take in from your span, from the virtual span, whatever thing, coming from the network. All this traffic, one of the same behavior, it's not behavior, but same profile is what? Is encrypted. They're all encrypted, right? If you do the traditional way of directing the traffic based on maybe up to IP address or port, you're not able to tell which are those applications, right? So we are there to give you the application awareness. After that, you can decide to tell that which traffic can go to which tool, right? A very good use case is your DLP, right? Your DLP very expensive and very small throughput. Yes, we help you to get all the traffic, but there's no need for you to pass every traffic to them. You will kill the DLP, right? So what we do is you can only filter out your file sharing applications, maybe FTP or SMB, all these file sharing applications, protocols, and only forward to DLP so that you can maintain your DLP there, not keep buying DLP. This is one of the use case that some customers are buying our applications filtering for DLP. So you have two kinds of use case. One is to filter the high volume, low risk traffic, right? Like your streaming traffic, your Windows update traffic that might overnight kill your tools, but in the daytime might not kill your tools. You can decide to filter it out. So like from this use case, you can take 10 gig traffic in, eventually only send 4.8 traffic out. So the BitTorrent is the one that I mentioned that we identify, then you can either filter it in or filter out. So some customers also purposely filter SSL traffic because you don't know where's the traffic, you can't decrypt all, right? You suck all the SSL traffic and then only send the SSL traffic to keep track what is happening in the SSL traffic, right? This is another use case. The other one is you filter the high volume, low risk traffic. You target, you do the laser focus like the DLP I mentioned. You need to find the application that you need and you pass to the tools exactly to the right traffic, to the right tools, so that they get what they want. So this is one of the example that you'll see. If there's no filtering, your IDS may taking in 50 gig of traffic. With the removing of streaming or IPsec traffic, because IPsec you can't inspect, right? It's all encrypted. You can't do anything. You reduce the traffic to 37 gig. With another features or functions we have, we call advanced flow slicing. We intelligently slice the application traffic after maybe certain packets. Maybe after 10 packets, because most of the security tools, they only see the first maybe 10 packets to see what is a handshake happening. The rest payload, let's say your HTTPS traffic are all encrypted. They cannot inspect at all, but you want to keep a copy, we take the payload off, right? This reduces the traffic from 50 gig to less than 37 gig, right? It overall help you to reduce the traffic up to 15%, right? This is one of the saving that you see from here. You see the graph from here, go down to here. It's a value use case. Some of the big tech companies are using this to help them to pinpoint where do they want to get the traffic, and then to help them to have the longer data retentions in their security tools. Right? So this application filtering will give you improve the efficiency of tools, higher security ROI because you send the right traffic to the right tools, and also reduce the workload for IT because you send the right traffic to the right tools, you reduce the false alarm, right? There's no unnecessary traffic sending to them and flag the false alarm to them. And the next one for the same, under same family is called application metadata. Right, this is mainly that you see from the left-hand side. This is all your traffic, network raw traffic, your data in motions. Once passing through our engine, will convert to metadata. Right, we can recognize up to 7,000 metadata. Right, can be SSL, can be DNS, can be URL, can be applications name. Right, you want to know what happened to your network, what are those applications. This can send to your backend SIEM or your backend big data storage, right, to store it, and then you do analytics on top of it. Right, this is some of the use case, including the SCADA. SCADA, we do recognize SCADA protocol and send the metadata out. So this is also give you more in-depth use case for the digital transformations or your customer experience. You see from here, it can allows you to identify the applications. It gives you some identifiers from email, this video. So this is some of the example, right? You might have a different use case. Some people use it for security analytics. Some use it for network performance analytics. Some use it for business analytics. Want to find out what is happening or what their subscriber is going to or is surfing. What are those videos are they surfing? This is all the use case you can use based on the same engine. Right? There are different metadata you can disable or enable and then to suit your use case. Right? Typical turnkey solutions, SIEM. If you are SIEM and you don't have any NDL or NTA solutions and you're looking to have a network activity visibility into your SIEM, you can use Gigamon to send the metadata to the SIEM vendors. And then their use case can be built from there. Maybe monitor your DNS visibility, you know that where are they going on, which is because I think one of the main thing you have to observe or monitor is your DNS traffic. It can give you 90% of the time based on DNS information, you can find out what is happening in your network, right? Followed by maybe your remote shell. What are those remote shell coming from internally or going out externally? This is some of the use case. You can use Gigamon to send metadata to the SIEM vendor. And this is the dashboard that you see from here, from Splunk. Once we send the metadata to them, then there's an application from there, right? We ingest our metadata and show up in the dashboard, and you can create IOC from there, similar to your QRadar. These are the two examples to show you. Another use case is if you have a packet recorder, you want to capture the packet, right? To store the packet at parameter side, you might be not able to store all the packets. Why? Because you need storage, right? So there's a data retention problem. So what about those data are not sent to packet recorder? So you can decide to take all this packet, convert to metadata, and then send to your SIEM to store a copy. So if you want to do some forensic or want to do some correlations, you can do from your SIEM. And this one show you that the same engine give you the security use case to highlight the security breaches, as well as the same engine used as to measure the application performance, right? Same engine can do both, depends on your use case. Right, so for forensic, I mentioned just now, you can send the metadata and store it, and then you can, afterward, you can take a look back and then find out what is happening in the network and why some of the vendors, they use metadata. The key difference is the packet capture will require a big overhead. Right? You have to maintain your infrastructure, your storage, to keep it. It gives you all the insight, but it's very expensive to maintain. But if you only send NetFlow, the typical NetFlow 5-2 net flow, it doesn't give you the full information that allows you to do the investigations, right? So application data intelligence have the same benefit of NetFlow. You use almost 1-2% of your total raw traffic throughput requirement, but give you all the insights that you know from the packet capture, because we remove all the unnecessary noises, right, from your raw data. So for forensic purpose, you will see that some banks or some governments, they are using the metadata to store a copy of a metadata from a network activity into the storage, so that when they want to find out something, they can look from there. Okay, so this is one slide show you who are those that are able to integrate with Gigamon and able to consume our metadata, right? You have a Pixel, Splunk, QRadar, Flowmon. These are some of the vendors that these are turnkey solutions. And if you're working backend, you will try to build your own Hadoop with the Elastic or Cloudera. You can also ingest Gigamon metadata. We pass to them, and then you build your customized analytics from there. I press it. Okay, so the benefit of it is it allows you to monitor the user experience, improving the security posture, and also to support the forensic analysis. Right, this is, I think, one of the main use cases that we see right now using our application metadata intelligence. The last one is the GigaView Cloud. So this is just to show you some insight that how do we do the cloud protections using our GigaView Cloud, right? So Gigamon is known for providing high quality network data from on-prem as well as the cloud environment. This is from one of the analysts that they mentioned in the public paper. So for public cloud, this is where you might end up with the left-hand side, multiple agents. If you try to deploy the network-based detection solutions, you have multiple agents, which give you a very big challenge to maintain all the agents. Imagine you have 1,000 workload there, and you want to install 4 agents. And then with the 5th agent introduced, you have to redo again for 1,000 workloads. Maybe you have some automation, but you need to maintain that. As well as, because so many agents that taking the same copy of the packet, it will introduce more data will be coming out from the same workload. So it might increase the cost because of the t-shirt size increase. So it is very inefficient. Compared to the right-hand side, it's the same architecture. You use the virtual tapping in the workload, and then we will get a copy to this vSeries, our virtual packet broker. From then, this is the abstractions, the virtual packet broker that do the filtering, the replications, the offloading, all from here before passing to the cloud tools, right? So this is, you see, compared to left and right, this one is more simplified, more easier to use and easier to deploy. And you compare the cost, this is Gigamon that using single agent approach compared to multiple agents. More and more agents, at one point of time, you have to increase your teacher size to support the additional agent, right? That's a cost increase. Right, so this gives you a kind of overview. Underlying this is what I explained through you, walk you through just now on all the on-prem tapping and inline bypass. This is all still relevant because you won't move all your data to the cloud. You still maintain some of the data in your data center. So this is still be there. Then your cloud, it can be public cloud or private cloud. We have a single management plane called the GigaView FM. Manage all the clouds in the same UI, right? So you can get the traffic from anywhere to anywhere and with the same configurations method, right? So this is easy to maintain and give you the same visibility from the across the on-prem as well as your cloud environment, right? So if you look at the public cloud, we support native integrations with the AWS and Microsoft Azure, and we have the cloud offering, what we call as any cloud. So any cloud that we don't work with the native API talking to API, then we have these any cloud solutions to work with them. So this is called Google Cloud. We're using the any cloud solutions. And for the private cloud, it's the same problem. It's a visibility problem. Comparing to your physical, where you can deploy your tap and spam, in your virtual environment, you are not allowed to put a physical tap inside a server. It's not possible, right? As part of processor, it's not possible. So there's no way that you can look into the virtual traffic, east-west traffic between your workload or between your hypervisor, right? So all the east-west traffic, you are missing out, right? You look at this one, okay. So from left VM to right VM, this is not visible because it's not going through your tap or your span in your infrastructure. And if you look at the traditional way, you try to put all the virtual appliance, the network technical control with the detections method in one single hypervisor, you see that you might need to deploy multiple virtual appliances from different vendors, right? This will eat into your CPU resources, eat into your RAM resources, eat into your storage resources. So some of your system team might not say, can you don't install? You compete with my normal business applications. So what we do is we optimize it. You put a single virtual appliance, a virtual packet broker in our VM environment. From there, it will tunnel the traffic out to the physical Gigamon appliance, right? Whatever tools that you already deployed that connected to physical Gigamon, straight away you have the east-west visibility inside your virtualized environment, right? It's very easy to deploy. So we have banks, also governments doing that. So this is a bigger picture. You have the virtual appliance on the left-hand side inside your hypervisor. From there, you can do some filtering, you can do some slicing to optimize the traffic before tunnel out to the physical Gigamon. And whatever that attributes or functions that we can perform in the physical appliance, we'll perform it on the physical appliance, which is the right-hand side, before passing to the tools. Right? It's the same use case, just that we have a virtual tapping, bring the traffic out from the virtualized environment to the physical world. Right? This is cheaper to do that. So for the native integrations, we have VMware, Nutanix, OpenStack, and for the any cloud, we are for Microsoft, we're using the any cloud solutions to integrate with them. Okay, the last one will be the success story. Just some of the example of my customer, how do they use it? Okay, so this is one of the cloud, private cloud using VMware, right? They have a FSI and service provider. These are different customers. So what they do is they bring the traffic out from the VMware or OpenStack, which is in some other country, also in Southeast Asia, to the physical box and pass to different tools, right? So some might pass to SIEM, some might pass to APT, some might pass to Convert to NetFlow before sending to the network collector, right? This is one of the use case for private cloud. Okay, followed by the OT. So we have an OT deployment as well, which is, see underlying this all unmanaged switch. We have a tapping, and we pass to the NTA from the OT security landscape, right? So this is using a tapping in an OT environment. And you see that there's an inline bypass, right? That's why I mentioned the inline bypass. This is what we call our smallest smart chassis. This chassis is capable of doing field to wire. So what it does is the traffic that going through between the router and the core switch, it will be redirected to the next generation firewall in transparent mode, deployed in transparent mode. So anything to the firewall, you'll get bypass. Anything happens to Gigamon, you'll get bypass. Because later you'll see in my next sessions, the OT is concerned on other things. So this is the architecture, we help them to do that. And this is one of the casino in Southeast Asia. They are concerned on any outage of the network, right? Most of the time, if you work with casino, the network is very critical. I don't know why. Maybe the betting machine all connected to network. I bet so. So the money is running there. So it must be always up 24/7. So this is the architecture. We can help them to make sure that the network is protected. It's going through the prevention tools, but anything happens, it can still bypass and not impact the business, right? At the end, security come after, and the money come first for casino. This is all I want to share to you for these sessions. I hope that I give you a lot of information, and it helps you on your planning or your decisions, and will come after the break. But before the break, I just want to ask the competitions or getting the t-shirts, right? As I promised just now. So my question is, how many applications can be recognized by application intelligence? How many applications? 3,000. Yeah, correct. So you're the only one listening to my talk. Thank you. Just kidding. Yeah, thank you. So you can go for the break for 15 minutes, right? 5 minutes. Am I right? Yeah. Then you come back 15 minutes. I will go through the last sessions with the OT security with Gigamon. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
โลกที่กว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเรา ให้คนไทยได้ทำธุรกรรมคำเช้าอย่างปลอดภัยมั่นใจ ทุกเวลานาทีลงไปมีความหมายทุกสิ่งที่ทำน้อยใหญ่ พัฒนาก้าวทำเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยพังอาจองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ต้านกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดาสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดาเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดากว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเรา ให้คนไทยได้ทำธุรกรรมคำเช้าอย่างปลอดภัยมั่นใจ ทุกเวลานาทีลงไปมีความหมายทุกสิ่งที่ทำน้อยใหญ่ พัฒนาก้าวทำเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยพังอาจองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ต้านกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดา ปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดาเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดากว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเราให้คนไทยได้ทำธุรกรรมคำเช้าอย่างปลอดภัยมั่นใจทุกเวลานาทีเดินไปด้วยความหมายทุกสิ่งที่ทำน้อยใหญ่พัฒนาก้าวทันเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยผงาดองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตามกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดา
พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA วู้
พวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตามกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดาเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดากว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเราให้คนไทยได้ทำธุรกรรมคำเช้าอย่างปลอดภัยมั่นใจทุกเวลานาทีลงไปด้วยความหมายทุกสิ่งที่ทำน้อยใหญ่พัฒนาก้าวทันเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยผงาดองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตามกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดา ลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดาเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดากว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเราให้คนไทยได้ทำธุรกรรมคำเช้าอย่างปลอดภัยมั่นใจทุกเวลานาทีลงไปมีความหมายทุกสิ่งที่ทำน้อยใหญ่พัฒนาก้าวทำเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยพงาดองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตามกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดา
พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA พวกเราคือเอ็ดดา ETDA วู้
พวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตามกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดาเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดากว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเราให้คนไทยได้ทำธุรกรรมคำเช้าอย่างปลอดภัยมั่นใจทุกเวลานาทีลงไปมีความหมายทุกสิ่งที่ทำน้อยใหญ่พัฒนาก้าวทำเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยพงาดองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตามกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไป ไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือคือหน้าที่เอ็ดดา
Information infrastructure, which is I think a major topic for last year, and I believe also for this year, because we see a lot of different verticals that try to protect their CII infrastructure, right? I mean, okay, let's see. Okay, so this is the quote from Donald Trump. So before he passing the bill, so he say that the world today relies on critical infrastructure such as power grids, water and food supplies, election infrastructure. I mean, this one is important. Transportation system and communications network that's increasingly complex, right? Because of Industrial 4.0, it's interconnected and interdependent, right? The cyber actor who aim to compromise or disrupt networks, often for monetary, right, and for political gains, are an increasing threat to our critical infrastructure. So this is from US, right? And it happens not only to US, to all around the world, I believe. Okay, so what is operational technology? So if you're from DCI, you might know what is operational technology, but this is for the maybe educational purpose, just to go through that. For Gartner, operational technology is deemed as or defined as a hardware and software together that detects or cause a change through the direct monitoring of a controlled physical device. So very different to IT. IT is all, you cannot see, it's a data on the screen. This one, anything, it will impact the physical world, right? So it's different between these two. And also for the IT security, the main thing is to use to protect people. Right? The first come in mind is people. Assets and information come afterward. Right? So the priority is very different between the IT and OT. Right? So this gives you some idea between OT and IT. Okay, so what's the security threats and risks? Right, this is taken from different sources. Just want to show you what's a risk. Right, this is some of the timeline that happens. It might not be including every events that happens in today's world, but these are some of the major events, and you can see that those threats and risks is real. Right, these are real. Right, especially like target, how they get being compromised is through the aircon vendor, the HVAC vendor from the OT side, then gain access, afterward gain access to target network, right? So that is the very risk that we see today in the OT infrastructure. And if you look at just mainly on the energy industry, these are all the attacks that happens in the world, right? There's so many attacks. They try to either for political gains or for monetary gains, right? There's too many. It's very hard to see from here also, just to show you the impact. And the impact is some of the few examples taking from this source, right? From the World Forum Economy, right? This is from one of the article. You can see that the Stuxnets manipulate to spin out of control for the nuclear reactor, right? This is very good indication. I think this is one of the major ones that people start taking seriously into the OT infrastructure, right? There's a cancel of electric bill. This is only for money from Turkish energy company. I mean, 650K might not be a lot to big company, but it might be a lot for a lot of small company or medium company, right? It might blow this company and it cause a very big damage to them. In 2025 and 2026, the same company, Ukrainian energy companies, are targeted, and then they leave their customer really in the dark, right? And then the same next occurrence is also another blackout, right? So this is the impact. That's why people are start looking into the OT security right now. So what's the GRC, the government risk and compliance for today's market that we see, right? As I say just now, the United States, they are the first to pass the bill to have the CII being protected. And also same to Singapore. I think like last year, 2 years ago, they also passed the law for Cybersecurity Act. They identify those of the infrastructure as a CII, you have to do something, right? So we see Singapore, there are a lot of activities starting last year, coming to this year and moving to next year. They also a lot of engagement and initiative want to protect the CII infrastructure. And of course, for Thailand, you also have Cybersecurity Act being passed last year, and I think there are some different companies or organizations being identified as CII, and you have to do some make sure there's a what we call the appropriate, at least a minimum protection, and also you need to do the response. The threat response. When they detect the threat, you have to respond within like I think like 72 hours, if not mistaken, I can't remember. Right? So you can see that more and more countries introduce the law to do their critical infrastructure, right? The critical information infrastructure, because this is a nationwide threat. Anything happens to the CII might cause a damage to the nation, right? So what? Next one, we will move on and then to see what are those security challenges when you want to protect your CII. What are those challenges? Right, first, what makes the difference, as I explained just now? The IT and OT. The IT, they are attack on the data information, your personal information, your proprietary information, your trade secret. All these are they are interested on, right? There's a monetary gain. The right hand side, the attack might be on the flesh, right? Maybe as a human, you have a damage to life, right? You have a casualty. For IT, you are learned to patch, right? You patch as quickly as possible. Whereas in OT, your patching might not be possible. Some might be, who knows, Windows 95 maybe is still there, right? There's no more patch. It's end of life already. And then some, if you want to do patching, it's not possible because running 24/7. If you bring down the system, something happens, right? So you cannot bring down the system. So this is on the challenge. OT security is very different than IT. Next one is, IT is all about confidentiality, right? Like your name exposed, your address exposed, all these things, all the news you see from there, right? But the OT side is the availability and integrity. It's not confidentiality, right? It's the uptime. It's make sure that the system is keep running, and then integrity means the value is not being manipulated or changed. Because if you change maybe from 30 degree to 35 degree, you just cause the whole reactor to go burst, right? So this is a different kind of perspective. If you're coming from the OT side, then when the conversation's having to IT, you guys might be arguing different things, right? So same thing, IT priority is data security, right? Looking at confidentiality first, after is integrity, and then availability. OT, first is availability, the integrity, confidentiality is totally opposite, it's different. So what makes the management of OT security difficult? First thing is, many ICS devices are interact with the physical world. Any wrongdoing will cause the huge damage, right? Sometimes your network outage or your customer cannot connect your online banking, doesn't matter, you won't die, right? Just you wait for a while, tomorrow log in again, maybe it's recover, doesn't matter. There's only some money lost, maybe some money lost. This one, you cause the real human life lost. Second thing is, many ICS devices cannot be accessed, managed, and monitored as the same way as the modern IT assets, right? What's the difference is you can't do patching, you might not able to do the AAA, right? You might not able to do any active scanning. Whatever IT methods that you can use in IT environment might not applicable to your OT environment. Right? This is make it very hard when you try to, as an IT team, go and manage the OT infrastructure. You hit the roadblock, right? The lastly is also the new capability of the ICS device for the availability, for the confidentiality and the efficiencies are all different, right? So this is make them, the OT and IT is so different. Okay, so before going into the other real kind of OT security monitoring, how they do that, right? We have to understand what is the active monitoring and passive monitoring. I think just now if you hear through my previous sessions, right, you will know that the active monitoring actually is like the inline bypass, or your appliance or your solutions is deployed in the path and actively blocking the traffic, right? You can detect the threat, and then you block it, right, so that the threats cannot go through. Whereas the detections is most of the time is outbound. It doesn't see the path. It's just passively taking in the traffic. And once you see the traffic and you detect it, after detect it, if you have advanced capability to do automations, maybe you can do the auto response and then auto remediations, right? If not, then you have to go and trigger the response to make sure you contain the threat, right? Or you make sure you fix the problem. So there's a difference between active and passive. And in this IT or OT, both of the different infrastructure, you need both, right? And the main reason also I mentioned is preventions. You make sure that your dog is thick enough, right? Your the outsider or the threat actor cannot come into your door. They must use a lot of effort just to break through the door. But what if they break through the door? Then you need to have the passive monitoring to monitor whatever that have breakthrough, right? Have broken through to your infrastructure, so you can monitor and you can find a way go and chase them out and then fix the door, right? This is very similar to our house. You have the door, you have the windows, you have a monitor CCTV. Right, so you see in a technical details on the OT security challenge, this is typically how the OT infrastructure look like. It might be a bit different, but this is kind of a common architecture if you look at all of the white paper. So first, the active monitoring, right? If you read the recommendations, you have to do the VLAN segmentations. You have to put the firewall between different segmentations, right? But most important is they'll ask between IT and OT or to external, you have to put a firewall there, right? To make sure the traffic is not passing through, right? You want to do the filtering and then monitor what's the traffic going through and then do the action about it, right? So, but it gives you a point of failure because traditional firewall, sometimes you might see your people running down data center to reboot your firewall because it hang. Sometimes it hang, right? It hangs in the OT environment, or you are dead, right? So you might find that some of the OT infrastructure, you talk to the team, put a firewall in, maybe you ask for many months, they will not come back to you to let you put a firewall there, right? One of the challenges. Physical interface must match the network. Interestingly, if you coming from, if you happens to have OT network in your architecture, I mean, depends you have a new one or old one, most of the time you see 10 megabit per second link is still there, right? Some might running very low speed and some medium you might not see before. And your firewall sometimes might not able just to put in, right? Because it's different medium. Also, it might degrade the network performance. Like I say, if the firewall or the prevention device have some misconfigurations or some of the software glitch, will cause the performance issue in the OT network. Followed by disruptive to the upgrade or replace the appliance, right? You want to do patching to a firewall. Sometimes you have the CV announce do patching, but you can't do patching because there's only one firewall, two firewall there in the path. So very difficult for you to put in the firewall just to have a patching afterward. You cannot move out, as I said just now, the inline bypass in the path as a prevention or outbound as the detections, right? You cannot switch between these two modes. How about passive monitoring? The back end, right? You want to monitor what happened at the back, your backyard, right? Something is running around your backyard. You want to know who is running around. Okay, so it might be IDS, OT security, might be SIEM. You have very efficient architecture, right? This is, if you want to do that, put in all the tools there. First, limited visibility. Each of the solutions have the limited interface they can connect to, right? And also depending on your OT network. Some we see a very huge OT network, right? Manufacturing. Some might be very small, right? I think one appliance can do the job. So it depends, but especially with the big one, you want to get all traffic. This is a problem. You cannot see all the traffic. Unmanaged switch. This is very real. Most of the time, I walk into them, I talk to them. You will see that most of the security vendors, they will recommend, can you do the spanning? Afterward, they give back. The answer is no. Right? There are few reasons, but the main reason is some of the switch, they can't give you span port. It's an unmanaged switch, it's an OEM switch, right? There's no span port at all. You can't do any configuration. If you you can do configurations, you void the contract between this customer and also the vendor, right? You're not allowed to touch that particular switch. So most of the time, no span port, right? I think more than 50%, I walk into them, no span port. Even if you have span port may oversubscribe depending of the switch model they use, right? If the old one turn on the span port, it will kill the switch. It will bring down the switch. And then no span port policy come, right? First time happens, second time no more span port. We have customer, we see that in the whole infrastructure so big, no span port at all. Span port contentions. Span port contention means you have one switch, but I think the pointer is not good enough, the battery. Yeah, so one switch, the most either give you one copy or two copies. If you want to connect 3 tools, how do you send to 3 tools? Not possible, right? You only have 1 or 2 copies. There's no way that you can send to 3 tools at the same time. So this is what I call a span port contention or contention of the traffic. Also similar, physical interface must match the network. You buy your tool, 1 gig interface, but the underlying OT network is 100 meg. You can't connect, right? If let's say they are SFP based transceiver, you cannot go down to 100 meg. Then you can't move on your project. You're stuck there. And tool sprawl. If you want to monitor all the network, depends on your network, you have to buy many sets of the same alike tool to see all the traffic within this OT infrastructure. So your tools will sprawl around your network. It becomes complex, very hard to maintain. Instead of maintaining the security posture of your network, now you maintain the tools. You become your tools administrator, not maintain the infrastructure, not maintain the security posture, right? You are busy managing the tool. So let's look at our solutions with OT security. How do we work with them? What kind of solutions we provide to them? Okay, firstly, for active monitoring, let's zoom in, right? Point of failure, this is zoom in, the corporate network, and then your firewall, and then your switch, right? This is all your challenges I mentioned just now. When you use this architecture, which is the inline bypass I mentioned just now, it's very similar architecture. But what we do here is you put, there's a typo there, is a 2 firewall, right? Most of the time, we see them do active and standby, right? Then, this one firewall may be running one software version. The other firewall doing the other, you upgrade to the other versions. And you swing the traffic to the upgraded firewall. Anything happens to the firewall, you can quickly swing back to the previous version of the firewall. So you can test your firewall, right? Anything happens, you can always have a last resort plan to swing back. If anything happens, not working, you can still bypass, right? Because availability more important, any last resort, bypass. So just now you saw the use case, there's one OT network really is using this architecture. With 2 firewall, with 3 firewall, with up to your risk factor, right? You want to do more, you want to do less, and your budget. But this is the architecture to introduce. There's no point of failure because the tools and the Gigamon box can fail, bypass, or fail the wire, right? There's no physical interface mismatch because your network can run 100 meg, but the tools can still run 10 gig. And you can aggregate multiple links to these same 10 gig tools. There's no network degradations of application and network performance, right? If you decide that certain traffic can be bypassed, which is not likely, but if you think that certain traffic may choke up, maybe because I mentioned just now the BitTorrent, you find the source, you want temporary bypass not to go through the firewall because it's BitTorrent, you know it's BitTorrent already. While you're solving the problem, you can get that to bypass, not going through firewall, not to kill your firewall, not to overloading your firewall. There's no disruption to upgrade, right? As I say, you have 2 boxes, you can play with 2 boxes, right? You bring 1 box down, the other box will take over. Even you have 1 box, this box go down, traffic bypass. When you bring up, then you will continue to serve take in the traffic and serve the OT environment. And you can move between out-of-band preventions, out-of-band detections and prevention mode, right? Between these 2 modes without doing any rewiring. Your box, everything is there already, it's fixed. Just use your configuration and change around. Right? It's easy, it's fast, and then no impact to the network. And last one, this is additional benefits that you can aggregate multiple links. Because if you follow your NIST standard, you might have to put this firewall in more different segments, right? If you want to buy more firewall, it might be too expensive and you deem that it's not relevant. So you can aggregate multiple links to share a firewall, and your firewall can run in your virtual context mode or the virtual firewall mode or the any mode, which is a virtual firewall, right? Or you can just separate them using different VLAN. Depends on your decisions. And for passive monitoring, you see from here, there's a limited visibility. We go into one by one. So this one I've gone through already. First thing, we provide the reliable access. How do we provide? So this one go into more detail, Firstly is to compare you between tap and span. Remember I mean no span policy. One thing is you will overkill the switch, and also maybe the switch is not, there's no span for you. And the third thing that come into these challenges is you see the span traffic is actually two directions going into one direction. So if your switch performance is not good, you might dropping most of the traffic and you capture only a subset of the traffic. So when you do your security analytics or whatever, your traffic is not complete. So when the traffic is not complete, the answer that you get from analytics is not complete, right? Because rubbish in, rubbish out. If you give a good traffic in, good answer will come out, right? That's the main thing that you see that when you use span port, you may face this challenge. Depends on the switch model. As well as the tap will give you 100% of the traffic because of the mechanism, right? Two directions, it will mirror exactly two directions out. So you get 100% of the traffic. So this is what I say the reliable access to the network data. So you get the good data, not get the rubbish in. So the benefit of using tap, this is an example of the fiber. Give you a full fidelity of the traffic, the high fidelity of traffic. And there's no network impact, and integrate directly with the fabric, right? Easy integrations. And the cabling is look like this one. You have a direct cabling without tap, then you just break the cable and putting it in, right? You have to get a downtime and put it in, right? And this is a very short, if you plan it properly, it will within like a few seconds, just change the cable, you'll bring up the link. So we have done some deployment of tap into their environment, and then to show them this is the better way to do that. Right? The other one is eliminate the span port contentions. You see from the left hand side, this is only 2 copies. You cannot send more than 2 tools, right? That's a problem you will might face if you want to deploy more than 2 tools. So with this, our solutions, right, our technology, it allows you to get the same traffic in, but we replicate, we multiply, multiple copy in line rate, and then pass to the tools, all the tools at the same time. And also, when you face the limited access to the environment, right? Let's say you have the tab there, or you have the span there, but the tools only have 2 NIC or 4 NIC, depends on model, depends on which vendor or which model you buy. And if you beyond that, you have to buy another box, and another box, and another box, right, to see all. And depends on this box and this box and this box can correlate all the information together or not, or they cannot correlate information. So there's a dependency on these 2 factors I mentioned just now. So with this one, these solutions will help you to aggregate everything, and from the network infrastructure means we aggregate all the segments either inline or either outband and pass to the tools, right? 1 single tool or 2 tools, depending on your needs, right? But the key thing is you can aggregate, allows you to aggregate, right? That's why I mentioned the speed mismatch. This is the speed mismatch, right? 10 gig and 1 gig cannot connect together. We allow you to connect them together, either in the outband or inline deployment mode, right? Both can do the same thing. And this one is also very key. Since you do a lot spanning or tapping, there are so many duplicate copy. Actually, all the copy you get is the same copy, just that they're flowing through different wire, right? It's the same copy of traffic, but flowing through different wire. You capture 1 time, 2 time, 3 time, 4 time. This is the same copy, but you get it multiple times, and you pass it to tools. Some tools, they might, okay, I just ignore. Some tools might be okay, this is alarm, or I see duplicate traffic, right? Some tools, you might overload them because your size for this particular tools is 10 gig, now you send 40 gig to them, you overload the tools, right? So we have these deduplications means we remove the duplicate packet. If I see the same copy of packet multiple times, I only pass one copy to the tools. The rest of the copy, I discard, I remove it, and then I send to the tool. So 90% of the time, when you do the tapping or spanning, you will have these deduplications to remove the duplicate traffic. And this will save you a lot of money and then also save you a lot of the tool efficiency. And the other one, also very relevant, we see some customer, which is a very big one, they have multiple locations, maybe like power plant, maybe like your airport, right? Airport, a lot OT infrastructure inside there. It's very big. You see the Suvarnabhumi is very big. How do you aggregate everything back to the centralized sites and use your OT security sensor at a single centralized locations? So because this will save your manpower, right? Like Thailand is very big, right? You might have north and south. You cannot send your people just go up to north Chiang Mai to replace one box. It's too inefficient. So what of the biggest country, I think not concerned Singapore is too small, but biggest country, they will try to centralize the tools in the one region. It's mainly for the manpower and also mainly for the cost saving because you don't need to buy so many tools across a small OT infrastructure. Right? So we see this kind of a requirement for certain plant, they will have this kind of deployment mode. Right? You put all the remote sites, then it will just responsible to take all the traffic back and then pass to the centralized tools, and you'll see the cost saving coming down, and also you save the manpower. Right? This is a good architecture, also valid for your SOC. So actually this is like a SOC. You have the IT SOC and the OT SOC all sitting together. Then you bring back to the centralized site. Okay, this is another requirement. We see some of the customer, they say, I have my OT traffic bring to IT, right? Most of the time, if you're talking about normal traffic path, your normal traffic, right? Your applications or your user talking to your applications, when you bring back to your OT to IT, your normal path, they will mandate you to put data diode. Depends on which verticals they are from. So we see some, they mandate you have to put data diode. Without data diode, you cannot get a traffic flow through. So for out-of-band mirroring, right? Then you want to bring the traffic one way from the OT infrastructure back to your IT infrastructure. Our solution allow you to have a one-way communications only. That is a physical, very similar to data diode implementations. There's a two fiber, you connect only one strand. The traffic only flow from one direction, and there's no possible way to flowing back through. Right? So if you have this use case, this will be, quite interesting for you to find out. We have a few customers doing this one. So left-hand side is all your OT, your tap and your span. Right-hand side is your OT security tools or your SIM is sitting on the right-hand side at your IT, your corporate normal network. So you see from here, this is a passive with our fabric, right? This is our fabric. It's a very similar architecture in our IT. We aggregate everything, but mainly using tap. But if you have no choice, you can go with span, tap and span together, everything aggregate in single fabric, and then pass to the tools on the top. Very same concept, right? So this gives you a pervasive visibility. It helps you to resolve the span issue, right? Either you don't have span port for you to use it because you can use tap, or the span port contention that I all mentioned just now, right? You have a different architecture that aggregations, de-aggregations to bring the traffic and then pass it to the other side. And there's no tool sprawl because when you size these solutions, you only size based on throughput, right? Typically when you do sizing, you ask your maybe engineer, help me to size. You count link 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, 6 link. Buy this firewall with 6 link, right? Then you detect the model. But actually, maybe when you use the firewall, you only use 1% of throughput because you size based on link. So this architecture allows you to size based on your real throughput, your real requirement, not the link, right? Sorry. So at the same time, it gives you additional benefit for the high fidelity of the traffic, and you have the business and operations agility, because you can, there's a passive technology as a tab, and also there's an inline bypass as a mechanism that allows you to do the software upgrade without impact to your business. So for ICS protocol, there are a lot of protocols, right? But this is some of the common ones we see, right? You may be working with, I don't know, like Honeywell or Schneider, all these running different protocols. Some have their proprietary one. But our solutions, similar, using application filtering intelligence. Just now I mentioned one of the customers is using this one to identify BitTorrent. So they are also backend using to do the filtering, to do the focus, laser focus filtering. So if they see all the traffic and they want to know that this particular tool is only interested in OT, particular applications or protocols, we can focus to pass them only that relevant. So the example that you can filter out based on DMP3, Modbus, right, and other protocols that recognize in our 3000 applications library. Right, so if you look at here, your inline means your active monitoring and your passive monitoring are all using the same fabric. It's a very same fabric, but it will protect your active monitoring, or what we call the inline preventions mechanism, and as well as your passive monitoring for the detection purpose. So prevention and detection under the single box. So you see from here, there's a next generation NGFW, which is two-sided arrows, and the rest, one-sided arrow, you can just send the traffic to them, right? So SIM will just do the taking in all the network activity, but your OT security will map all your asset mapping, right? It will do the detections, anomalies, malicious traffic detections, right? Then the ideas will be the typical signature base. So with our approach with the OT architecture, you'll see that you have less disruptions to the production network. You have a better tool accuracy, right? You can do filtering. You can selectively not to send everything to them and better utilize your tools. And also you lower the TCO. And especially you have a very large OT environment. You cannot buy like 100 sensors. It might be too expensive for you to spend this kind of money. Then you can think of, maybe you can consolidate and then sharing few sensors instead of 100 sensors, right? So you will reduce your TCO of monitoring. Right, this is some of the example that we can work with them. We can for active monitoring is straightforward. All those firewall, right? You can just integrate with them. Followed by, passive monitoring. Some of them are good in healthcare. Some of them are maybe good in manufacturing. So some of them have different use case, but the integrations is there. The similar needs are for the passive monitoring is the data in motions, right? And the top one is, of course, doing the prevention. Every traffic through, you have a filtering in place to make sure the right traffic is going through your network. Right, so with the integration between all these vendors, you can see we provide them the pervasive visibility with low risk and passive monitoring. The keyword is agentless. Right? Most of the time, you can't install agents or like endpoint solutions in your assets, your OT assets, right? So we allow them to expand their visibility using the agentless approach. The next one is also we help them to reduce the bottleneck, or not to oversubscribe the tools, right? When you deploy sensor, not to be oversubscribed. Next one is we accelerating the throughput, right? By mainly doing the filtering and also the deduplications. If you send 40 gig to them, now you just send 10 gig to them. It's more efficient because they will stop processing the redundant 30 gig of traffic. So it's more efficient to them. And the last one is you can use this architecture to show to your regulatory or your management to show that this is do it efficiently and help you to comply easily to the regulations. Right. So this is my last slide. Is the success story. How do they deploy? So this is one of the TVA from US. How they do that is, if you see from here, actually they combine the inline bypass and the metadata and all the power substations, right? So the main kind of way of using is they put the inline bypass at the main site, at the gateway site, and then all the different substations, they put in the metadata. So they still have the visibility into all the substations because the United States is very big. At the same time, when all the traffic passing through the gateway, they have the inspections from there. But the inline bypass is there to make sure that there's no outage. Right? This is one of the use case. And the next one is one you already seen as a use case I shown just now. It's mainly on the unmanaged switch, the copper tap to tap all the unmanaged switch because underlying all the different lower tier of the network are all unmanaged switch or OEM switch. So you can't possibly take the traffic out using span at all. So, but in order to comply, you still need to take the traffic out. Because sometimes you might hear that you have an RTU there, but there's a conversions between machine to machines and human to machines, right? Then if you want to pick up the machine talking to machines and there's no span port for you, tap is the way for you to tap to it into that link, get the machine to machines traffic out, pass to the OT security tools so that they can do the analytics. Okay, I think that's all for my sessions. And I have a last questions I would like to ask. So for OT security, what is the challenge of using span port? Maybe you give me one, and yeah, I'll hear your answer. Anyone? What is the challenge if you have able to use the span port as a traffic source? What will be the challenge? Anyone? No one. All shy. Okay, so I'll keep my shirt. Okay, thank you everyone. Thanks. If you need any information, you can come and look for me. I can share more things if you need to have some discussions. And I'll have a Kung here, maybe, to speak out. You want to speak something? No. It's okay. Thank you guys. Thanks for your time. Yeah.
ทำน้อยใหญ่พัฒนาการทำเพื่อให้เศรษฐกิจไทยผงาดองอาจยั่งยืนพวกเราไม่หยุดคิดพวกเราไม่หยุดทำไม่ยอมเป็นผู้ตายกล้าทำสิ่งใหม่รวมพลังศรัทธายึดมั่นในหัวใจพวกเราคือเอ็ดดาสร้างสะพานแข็งแรงเชื่อมทางไปข้างหน้าคือความหมายที่สื่อเชื่อมโยงโลกใบใหญ่ให้ใกล้เพียงปลายมือโลกที่กว้างใหญ่พร้อมให้เราก้าวทันจงมุ่งมั่นให้เป็นวันของเรา